for the club. So it's going to be a fascinating start as to whether Pakenham can re-establish the momentum they had prior to that loss to Warburton. They won their first 6. Seville have won their first 7. So both players, or both sets of players, moving to their respective huddles. We'll keep an eye on games around the grounds, be it AFL or across the broader Outer East. At the Gabba, Brisbane 5-8-38 lead the Giants 6 straight 36. A pretty nasty knee injury to Payne in that game. And Outer East, some big football as it all resumes here. So about to get underway in the middle. Tato to take the ruck tap, punches it out towards the far side of the ground. Little hold on the jumper there, let go. Bit of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other as to whether he did just let the ball go. Trellope's in there. No bounce, and we'll do it all again. So secondary stoppage. Big ground, a lot of wide open spaces in this one. First meaningful foray forward goes the way of Seville. Up towards an attacking position. They slide out. They take the mark on the lead. Neil. Mentioned the goals kickers for these two sides. The spread has been a feature, which is obviously what you need with good teams. Neither side with a player in the top 5 goal scorers, but with 9 between them in the top 30. Kicks from about 35, not going to have the carry. It'll set up to about 20 and be marked. The size and strength advantage in the front position, and it's going to allow Nolan, the skipper, who's kicked 14 himself this year, to line them up from basically point-blank range. So 2 contested marks inside 50 to start the game. Will it result in the first goal? Starts right and drifts a little further out. So the opening score is a behind. So 1 behind playing no score. And we are here, of course, for Healesville Greyhounds, and all of that on the Petters suspension and breaks scoreboard. So Pakenham, with what will actually be their first possession of the game, they've been called back to take that again. Solberger at the top of the square was going to attack this side, goes to the far side of the ground instead, chips into the back pocket. Comfortable mark taken. Down the line, one-on-ones further afield. A little bit of a hold of the jumper there, and it'll be the opening free kick of the afternoon, which will go the way of Pakenham. Cook quickly feeding that one on. Down the line they go. Good strength in the contest from Pakenham. It's socked forwards, and it was pretty bold play initially. They've got it here about 55 metres out, feeding the hand pass back towards Ahern. Chips it further. Mark taken on our broadcast wing here by Solberger, pushing down after taking kick-in duties a few moments ago. Goes short again. Clacy, shorter once more, finds De Bono, who's got it 65 from home, sets it up. They have got a numerical advantage at the top of the square. If it gets over the back, they should be able to walk into the open goal. Eventually they get boot to ball and put it through. They had a 3-on-2. Smartly, they had one player stay down in Hall, who goes in and kicks the first off the ground. Did well to make sure he got it below the knee. And that's the first goal of the afternoon. 3 minutes in, 1 straight 6 plays, 1 behind. And smart there if you have the numerical advantage to have a player compete in the air and keep the other on the grounds. Nice small forward craft. Going up again. Tato in the ruck. Feel for Pakenham's confidence to start, almost more important for them, just with the little rattler they had prior to the King's birthday weekend, that 66-point loss to a very good Warburton side. and with some fresh faces in this lineup who we'll see throughout the course of the game. Wright, Matty and Lee all appearing for the first time as Seville go forward down in the direction of Neil, who had that early opportunity. The quick snap towards goal is a good one. He had the set shot which didn't quite get the carry, but on the ground, the quick reflexes towards goal and they get the immediate answer. Joshua Neal, 117, plays one straight 6, 4.5 minutes gone in the first term. The Gabba Brisbane 7-9, 51. The Giants 6 straight 36, but 16 scoring shots to 6. A bit of a tail in that. We say Outer East Premier and Div 1 scores throughout the day as they are fed to us. Good start between a couple of strong sides. In the cricket pitch area and there, the umpire looks like he's going to pay holding the ball there. That was a fairly tough shout there. O'Neill gets the free kick. So we've got O'Neill and 2 O'Neills in this lineup. Goes down towards attacking 50, one back by Pakenham. Now it's toe poke down into a little bit of space. Shouts for holding the ball, but there wasn't really an effective tackle put on in there. Kamanzuli centering kick had to be good, and it was. Finds a target on the half-back flank. Little wraparound. They didn't have a stack of room. They do get the Shepherd. They chip it towards Styles. Takes the mark in front of our broadcast position. Looking to use it short. That kick just missing the target there in green, tracking through. He's surrounded by opposition players. Did well to feed it back to Kamanzuli. Getting in there to lend a hand is Lee, one of those debutants with his first possession. And now there'll be a free kick eventually for holding the ball. And it's the goal kicker in Joshua Neal. Floats it to about 40, 2-on-1 in favour of Pakenham. They can bring it to ground as a result of that lovely speed, breaking through with a flying shot at goal from Morrison. It bounces out of play. Did it bounce out of play or go out on the full? It's just cleared the line. So it's a free kick that'll go the way of Pakenham. Casually work it up towards Menzel on the half-back flank, about 50 metres from the goal he's defending. Nice ball further afield towards Stanton. Takes the mark. Just backward of the wing position. Centering kick's okay. Menzel kept pushing up. Still in their back half. Good defensive setup here from Seville. The kick into the middle is a good one. They feed it wide. That's okay. Ahern has it. Goes over the top. Good hard running, although it just fumbling it there. Jones at a crucial stage. And ties it up. They missed a chance to go inside 50 there, but it'll be a stoppage. Lovely ruck work. Straight down to the path of Clacy. Goes towards Hall, pushing inside 50. And pass fed through. They shear it well. It comes over the top here towards Medson. Medson on the left. That should be turned over. Mark spilt there by Silva. Has time to gather. Goes towards Ahern. Stripped of it well there. Crashing through Koshit. Goes to a one-on-one at about 30 metres from goal. Seville continue to push it down the ground. Free kick probably against Farrow there for a hold of the jumper. So Ahern with a long kick. It's effective. Finds Stanton. Keeps moving the football. Menzel with another possession on that far side. Taken 3 marks in the last couple of minutes. Patrolling down that wing. Goes shorter. They're creating some space. They've got it to half forward now. Kicks towards a one-on-one inside 50. Use of the body there from Cassia was good, but the boundary line eventually wins out. So we've ticked past, or nearly 9 minutes in this quarter. 1 point lead to Seville. Quick give there towards Sciatino. Stripped of it. I think that's out of play. They were just waiting for the boundary umpire to jog up to that contest and get there, and did. Quick kick towards the pocket, won't get to the top of the square, will land just inside the field of play. Good attack on it, crashing through there from Yakawoni. It's over for a throw-in. Ruck work being done here by Hager, who's been a goal kicker for Pakenham this year. Bit of a pocket picking there, and the quick snap towards goal is out of bounds on the full. Short ball to the pocket's going to be turned over. Hager working into the pocket, called to play on. Now he stepped off the line. No one realises it yet. Drags a kick towards goal. It's swinging back and it hits the post. Gave that every chance from there. Perfect use of the conditions. 1-1-7 apiece. Short kick. The middle of the ground they go. Can this clear the traffic at the back? It doesn't. It's cut off here by Kamanzuli. He'll send it back to centre half forward. A bit of a half volley kick. Didn't do the forwards any favours. It comes back to Kamanzuli, who gave it off towards Tato. Fed over the top there by Solberger. Now they'll drive it inside 50. Great kick. And Keishia kicked 4 of their 7 at their last hit out against Warburton. Can line up for his first here in what would be goal number 17 for the season, which would draw him level with Ryan, who's not playing today, as the leading goal kickers for his club. So 35 metres out. Feel like it's going to be a reasonably difficult kicking day. Slightly swirly breeze, but not dreadful conditions. And he kicks the goal. So they take the lead by a kick with that. 2-1-13 to 1-1-7. Certainly going to be in the frame, you would think, over the course of the game for the best on ground for Rochford Winery. Always plenty of magnificent music gigs out at Rochford and good feed. Wine, make sure you check out and head along to capture the magic of all of that. 2-1-13, 1-1-7. Good early start to what was expected to be a pretty good game. First or third v first on the table. Only one loss between these two sides across the opening 7 rounds or 7 games that they've each played. Alloy goes inside 50. Great ball movement. Finds a target there in Tristan O'Neill. Man on the mark is about 45 metres from goal. Wasting no time as he pushes back quickly off the mark. Kick again, heading out towards that right pocket. Kept in play momentarily. It comes towards Neil, who kicked the first of those goals. Just got rid of that in time. Jones goes across the face of goal. Mark held in the pocket there by Clacy. Over the top. Short ball's a good one. Finds Keishia. They work it up the line and eventually over. Good hands through there towards Dia Petrantonio. Front and centre from Cesare goes into the pocket. Attacking it full-chested there was Jones. Ran straight into a brick wall and was penalised for a throw. So it's going to come back here to Mason O'Neill this time. We had Tristan have a shot at goal just a second ago. Not the easiest kick. Starts it well left. It will draw back a little bit, but it'll swing behind the post and remain out of bounds on the full. So a couple of wasted chances, albeit, as we say, not the easiest kicking conditions, particularly to that perhaps more open end of the ground. Ball in, opportunity about 52 metres out for them to head back inside. Top of the square, the target of that kick. One-on-one's in the front position. Tato keeps it in front of himself. Pack converges on top of him. Umpire says, give it to me. Would have been some temptation, perhaps, to pay holding the ball. Worked out by hand, off a step, dumped as he kicked it. There was Collie down towards the pocket. And the intercept mark taken at the top of the square. Worked out towards the halfback flank. Backwards goes Kidd to the top of the square. Up towards the halfback flank, good kick. They're pushing well into space down that far side. Bring it more centrally. Kidd pushes up to defensive 50. And another strong lead. They've got it up to the wing now. There's a player free in the middle of the ground in Cook if they want to go in that direction. Instead, they go over the top. Now they've got some space to play on if they wish. Long left foot kick. Casey caught behind there, and also Clacy, who was pushing up to try to impact that. It's going to be turned over though. Kick straight back into the middle of the ground. Taken here by Silva. Short again, using the ball well. Ahern has it, goes over the top. Good ball use, short, methodical. 60 from home, so still a couple of kicks from goal. At the 16.5-minute mark of the quarter, the target was the big fella there in Hagger, who's already had one shot at goal. Couldn't take the mark there. Nolan feeds the hand pass through. Coley gets the receive, goes up towards Alloy on the wing. Stopping and propping and squeezing a little kick forward. Trapped, handball inside. They share it around, going towards the target there in Neil. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark, then comes in and takes the body, and the umpire says that is a push. Short ball to right, another of the first gamers. So we've seen a couple involved here. Menzel has it in the back pocket. He goes the longer of those options. Good vision, and the kick works. Styles. Excellent delivery. Styles pulls that one a little bit short, although it drifted, got over the back of the intercept player there, made its way towards Casey. Hand pass almost cut off there by Yakawoni, but should have been a down the ground free kick there for a dump tackle on Ahern. Nothing doing. Goes to centre half forward, taking it off hands. There is Green, feeds it over the top. They should be able to convert here into an open goal. Just drags the kick away to the left. And one behind only. Bit of a mischance there. Nice 2-2-14 to 1-1-7. Long ball down towards the wing position. No mark taken. And pass back. Good physical contest there from Brooke. A bit of a holding in that ruck contest. Free kick's going to go the way of Seville, be taken by Nolan. So off the ball free kick will go to Mason O'Neill. Good mark taken, one-on-one. Took a bit of body, held the mark. Approaching time on in this term. Long ball down the line. I think it's going to be a 50-metre penalty, so I thought about taking off advantage, but I think they're going to be able to do that. It's going to be advanced down the ground. So Pakenham, in general play, look to be controlling the ball well. It is only a 7-point margin on the scoreboard right at this moment. Not the best kick, but they had time. Kamanzuli thumps it down the line, stays in the field of play. Hall, who kicked the opening goal of the game, couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Flashing through there was Yakuoni. Pakenham again had the chance to take advantage, but taking the safer option. Clacy goes to centre half forward. Brought to ground there in the contest from Cassia. And not an effective hand pass, says the umpire. Looked like there was a little touch on it, but not enough. Free kick here to Green. So Green with the man on the mark right on 50. Going to set the kick up to the top of the square. They've got the numbers there, and once again the front and centre in the goal. So almost a carbon copy of the first goal of the game, where they created a 3-on-2. The 2-on-2 contested in the air, left a player on the ground. It was Hall the first time, it was Menzel this time, and they've got their third. 3-2, 20 to 117, 21 minutes into the first quarter, and they get probably a bit more of a fitting reward for the performance that they've put through in this quarter. So free kick in the middle, going the way of Seville. They thought about taking off via Saniga, but it'll come back to the original point. Coley, who's been pretty good through the game so far. Broadway marks basically in the circle. Nolan. Short again. Hits up the top of the square, drops a little bit short, and the defensive mark taken by Jones, who's done a bit of that through the game so far. Goes short to the first gamer. Probably a free kick, but nothing doing. They lay 2 tackles, couldn't quite get the hold on it. The quick snap across the face of goal is going to be marked comfortably in the pocket down there by Stanton. Pulls a left foot kick well to Styles, who puts the handbrake on. 22.5 into the quarter, goes into the corridor. Kick has to be good. Well marked there by Clacy. Hits the ground running through the middle. Goes to a one-on-one inside 50. Hall's there. Is it going to be a free kick? It is. Open forward line causing a bit of panic amongst the defence. Sets it up to the pocket, and the mark almost hauled in down there. It was Green competing on that one, and we'll have a bounce. Double-fisted tap towards Koshit. Koshit's quick kick out's going to be cut off. They've got 2-on-1 again here. Ahern measures the pass inside. No mark taken. Bouncing ball, dribbling towards goal. Helped on its way through for a rush behind by Koshit. And that ends a pretty good first quarter from the home side. Pakenham 3-3-21, Seville 1-1-7. Menzel, Hall and Casey are the goal kickers for Pakenham. Neil with the major for Seville. We'll take a quick break. On the other side of that, we'll give you some around the ground scores from a few of the other venues today and what's happening across Outer East's 2 divisions, as well as keeping an eye on the AFL. We're at halftime. Brisbane 9-10-64 lead. A very accurate Giants, 8 straight, 48. But a break here from Pakenham, where the home side leads by 14 points. Pakenham side on the back of a few injury concerns and that heavy defeat to Warburton, so they'd be well pleased with how it's tracking. We'll give you some around the ground scores in just a moment once we get a stoppage in play. Free kick there to Seville, right in the middle of the ground. Shipping to half forward, had too much on it. Broadway was the target. It got over the back, so they'll maintain possession. Well fed back. Driving kick towards half forward. Driving there was Koshit, couldn't take the mark. Hurried snap over the shoulder there from Neil. Lands about 30 metres out, double-fisted towards the pocket. Close to the boundary, and they'd be happy to see that out of play. They do. This is part of the Socket to MND round. We'll give you scores from this division and Premier in a moment. For those that have come through to us, Seville inside 50, looking for the first goal of the second term. Neil tries to feed that one through. Coley got a hand to it. Pakenham with the clearing kick down towards the wing. Good attack on the ball from Nolan, pushing into front position to mark it about 60 metres from home. Sets it up into the corridor, not quite going to have the carry. Pakenham getting a few numbers at the ball, feeding it through towards Styles, who escapes and drives a very good kick towards Hall. Doesn't take the mark, but has time. Pops it over the top, hard running from Kamanzuli, who can play on down the outer side. Good kick towards Casey, who keeps his feet. Good defending, though, from Seville, and a clever little knock-on. Creates an opportunity. Sciartino runs through and drives down towards Broadway, who takes the mark, plays on. Coley on the lead, marks. Man on the mark, about 60 from goal. Concedes a bit of territory back to Broadway. Low darting ball towards Neil. Almost half volleys him. Jones goes over the top. Neil continues the chase, but they take it away. Hall this time marks on the half-back flank. Down the line with a nice looking kick. Matty, another of the debutants, looking lively. He's had a few possessions in the game. And look at that pace charging away. Just gets the hand pass away. Worked out okay towards Green. Green snaps it back towards the top of the square. So we've now seen all 3 first gamers have an influence. Seville thought about taking the advantage, but they don't. Comes back to them in the pocket. Short ball, they can play it on now. Iacovoni. Apologies if I'm slaughtering that name, but trying to put the, I think it's Italian, but we'll find out. O'Neill. Bouncing that down towards attacking 50. Well trapped by Brooks, who threw his weight around a bit in that first term. Goes to half forward. Green couldn't take the mark. Goes towards Casey. If it sits, could be a chance. Left foot kick towards the top of the square, and the mark is taken in a one-on-one. It looked for a while like Iacovoni might have had that covered. But instead, it's going to be Hall, who kicked the first goal of the game, to potentially kick the first goal of the second quarter, and does. First multiple goal scorer on the afternoon, 4-3-27. Plays 1-1-7, a chance to head around the grounds. Warburton 4-4-28, lead Yarra Glen 2-2-14. Powelltown on the road 4 straight 24, leading Yay 2-2-14. Alexandra 6-1-37 over Belgrave 4-2-26. They're the Div 1 scores. And we'll try to squeeze in Premier while we wait for the ball to be bounced. Monbulk 3-5-23, lead Officer 3 behind. Healesville 6-2-38 over Gembrook Cockatoo 1-1-7. Wandon 7-4-46, lead Upway Tacoma 4-2-26. And Alinda Ferny Creek 6-4-40 over Emerald 3 behind. No score from the Warriellic Mount Evelyn clash to this stage. Umpire looked like he wanted to pay holding the ball, but in the end we'll call for another stoppage. So score check here, 4.5 minutes second term on the Rochford Winery scoreboard, 4-3-27 to 1-1-7. Thank you to our Petters Suspension and Brakes and our major sponsors, Project Gap, MS Security, SSA Sports, and of course the crew at Bendigo Bank. Seville in need of a goal. Has yet to taste defeat this season, but they're certainly under some pressure here. Coley broke one tackle, didn't break the second, dragged off the kick and holding it. And one of those first gamers in Jake Wright gets the free kick. Concedes a bit of territory, back towards Jones. Good kick, finds Brooks, far side. Good running again here by Wright. Gets onto the end of it, feeds the player coming past in Hall. Handbrake, chips the kick in towards Ahern, who takes the mark onto the left foot. Drives it deep. They're caught behind. That might not matter. It hits the deck. Good tackle. Picking the pocket there into the open goal. Feeds the hand pass off and they'll walk it in. Good sharing of the football. Cook to Lee. And the first gamer gets the goal. In fact, I think it was it Hagger that got the goal? It was Hagger that got the goal. Certainly fed by Cook, who did really well sharing it in. And Joshua Hagger gets his first goal of the game in what is goal number 15 for the season for him. And a 26-point advantage, 5-3-33, plays 1-1-7. Seville work it forward. Very good effort in the air there from Broadway. Terrific contested mark. A contender unquestionably for the mark of the day there for MS Security. Goes to the pocket. Another good hand. Plucking it out of the air. Well, difficult kick from this pocket though. About 48 metres out from Neil, who's given them a good target through the game so far. Now backing himself in, we have seen kicks sort of drift kind of right to left, which won't necessarily suit this. It's not a bad looking kick. It holds the line. That is a beautiful goal. Terrific kick. Neil has both of their goals. You can't hit set shots much better than that. 2-1-13 to 5-3-33. Perfect use of the conditions. 8 minutes in the term. 2-1 so far on the quarter. Pakenham 5-3-33. Seville 2-1-13. Can Seville get something happening out of the middle here? Sciatino did really well. Gave the ball off there. And that tumbling ball forward is marked inside 50. It's amazing how quickly you can make things change. Just a clean, so he had an excellent set shot before, then the clearance to find Aloy, who's kicked 3 in their last hit out a few weeks back, looking for goal number 20 on the season. The leading goal kicker for his side to this point, but as we said, a pretty good even spread across the teams. This for back-to-back goals in less than a minute. Directly in front, hits it okay, slams it into the post. So a little let off there. 2-2-14, plays 5-3-33. Kamanzuli with the kick. Asked a bit of a teammate there, probably interfered with. Free kick. A toy, Tato it is rather, goes into the middle of the ground. There he is again, Tato sharing it by hand back towards Stanton. Now caught behind his opponent was Menzel, but did well to bring it to ground. They're keeping it alive there just inside the boundary. It's stolen from them by Saniga in the end, and then he too is dispossessed. Free kick to Pakenham. They'll chip it into Stanton in the long sleeves, takes the mark. Goes to centre half forward, good kick. Still slightly too far out to score. Options leading left and right. That's a pretty good kick, gives them a chance in the contest. Couldn't quite pull the mark down. Good aggressive attack on it. Paddling it around to keep it in front. Doing well there was Styles. Just escaped. Now a long way from his defensive goaler is Jones, and he has his pocket picked as well. Now it's open field ahead. It's just hacked down there into space. Lee, the first gamer, traps it. Did really well to Stanton. They cut through, left foot kick falls a little bit short. They might get caught on the turnaround here. Chipping ball towards Cesare, goes inside 50. Very good spoil there from Kamanzuli. Comes to Aloy again, long shot at goal. What a nice kick that is. What a great goal. This is their favourite pocket at the moment. 2 of the best goals that you will see kicked in this game. First from Neil on the set shot, and then that one from Aloy. Great second effort after Kamanzuli covered the ground to get the spoil and bring it to ground. And just lost his footing a little bit, which gave Aloy the extra metre or 2 that he needed to affect that. And affect it he did. So now Pakenham, who led by as much as 26 points, now find themselves leading it by 13. Margin cut in half. Pressure good. As picking himself up Clacy at the bottom of that pack. Basically halfway through the second quarter. 2 goals each. Good clearance work here by the young man there in Rice, who's showing a bit. Kept alive by Green. Opens up the angle, goes over the top. They can stroll into the open goal. And Kidd delivers. I reckon they've kicked 4 of their 6 from the goal square so far today. Well done by Rice out of the middle, and then well done by Kidd to take his chances running in. 6-3-39 plays 3-2-20, 19-point advantage once again. So back in the middle, well fed forward towards Menzel. Feeds it back. There is Rice again towards Tato. Sold a little bit of candy. Thumps the kick down towards a dangerous position. Off hands. Ball's not there. Dragged to ground and will have a bounce. Menzel tried to get the hand pass out. Well cut off in there by Sciatino. Has it underneath the light tower down there on the Princess Highway side of the ground. Goes down towards the wing. It's kept alive there from Seville. They'll bounce the kick out into the path of Koshit. Now, nothing to kick to up the ground, so he's going to have to chip back into the middle looking for Broadway. Couldn't quite haul in the markers. Brooks did a pretty good job. Hand pass down there towards Matty. Good speed chipping through right. Oh, it's a hand pass out and we'll go over for a throw in. 14.5 minutes into the term. Down towards Broadway. Traps it, feeds it back. Centering kick. Rice got a hand to it, couldn't take the mark. Sold the candy beautifully through the middle of the ground when he had a couple of options on. Chips it short. Finds Kamanzuli, goes through the middle of the ground. Mark not quite hauled in. Seville can win it back. Neat little kick from Saniga. Finds a target. They'll turn and go there via Di Pietro-Tantino. Wider it comes here towards Clancy. Wobbly left foot kick. Just tunnel balled its way through Styles. Good hands out. Sciatino. Neat kick into the middle of the ground towards the other of the Sciatinos in Bailey. Now Di Pietro-Antonio goes to a one-on-one further afield. Well trapped there by O'Neill. Just got the hand pass away. One back by Pakenham. They'll chip to centre half back. They had the numbers Pakenham, but didn't get the kindest of bounces. Hand pass through towards Nolan, who couldn't gather it. Sweeping on it is Eliadis, who goes back in with a second effort. Flying left foot shot at goal is going to drag a well out to the right. Dean Eliadis with the behind. 3-3-21 plays 6-3-39. 16 minutes gone in the second term. 18-point margin. Floating left foot kick out. A bit of a hold there on the jumper of Jones, who will get the free kick. Short ball down towards centre half forward. Neal coming out. Gather it. It's hand passed here towards Ahern. So in the middle of the ground, good strong tackle put on. Umpire comes in and will call for a bounce. So in the middle of the ground, Tato picks it up. Down towards centre half forward and we'll have another bounce. Coming around for the hand pass was Stanton. Kicks towards a one-on-one. The contest there, Kidd, who kicked their most recent goal. Ball hits the deck. Matty floating around. So boundary throw in. So just getting our scoreboard operating, but we're all good now. So we're back in business. Chips the ball short. Mark taken. Trellope in the pocket. Kick smothered there. Good work coming across. The pressure in the forward line has been strong. The ball will be thrown in once again. So pressing for another late opportunity near the time-on stages of the quarter. Menzel, hand pass comes through outside of the boot there from Clacy. They're looking dangerous. Well shared around down there between Saniga and Schiattino for Seville. They've got options down the grounds. Becomes a bit of a foot race out there as charging after it is Morrison. Couldn't quite get it through Jones, who stood there like a brick wall. They're still persisting. Comes to Neil, whose hands were very good. One-on-ones down there, and well done by the young man in right, who leaps up and takes the mark. Chips into the middle. Green. Now Tato. Pulls the kick effectively. Taking the diving, almost slips catch there was Cook. Chips to centre half forward. Free kick for interference in the marking contest, and that should almost be a 50-metre penalty for the ball not being returned. You generally have to give it back to the kicker in that situation, and there it is. Took a little while, but Menzel will be marched to within scoring range. It might have been for something that happened a little bit afterwards, but it was the right result. They probably could have got a 50 on the wing as well for the earlier indiscretion, but that was definitely a 50 for just putting the ball on the ground rather than returning it. You don't have to pick it up if it's on the ground, but if you've got it, you have to return it. So Menzel looking for his second. From about 30 metres out, steers the kick to the left. And one behind. 6-4-40 plays 3-3-21. So they've worked it all the way up towards Beninga on the far side wing. Didn't get the best of bounces. Was met hard by Kamanzuli. Chip towards half forward. Menzel's there. There's a hold in there which will go Seville's way to be taken by Nolan. Skipper finds Morrison in the middle of the ground. 19 points is the deficit. 22.5 minutes have elapsed in this quarter. All for Healesville Greyhounds. Morrison kept running, gets another possession on the half-back line. That kick's going to fall a little bit short, went through Green's hands, but they had support there, right. Goes back in his direction, Green. Low ball's good towards Menzel. Pakenham, you think, happy to take a bit of the sting out of the last little stages of this. Short ball finds a target. Now they concede a bit of territory back to the wing. Now they'll go all the way back to Solberger at centre half back. Got options out here, not in a hurry, but they're working it around. Ahern chips it to Kamanzuli, who's forced to go back towards him, the hand pass, and eventually a pretty good result for Seville to see that ball out of play and force a stoppage in their forward half as the side with the best chance to score here in the closing stages. Down towards the pocket, Broadway charging after it. It just stays alive, stepped over the boundary. A centering kick across the face in any case. So, toss back in. Umpires paid a free kick in the ruck contest, and it's going to go the way of Seville. Umpire still pointing, hasn't necessarily put the arm out to indicate, but eventually Mason O'Neill will be the recipient of this free kick. Big kick late in the quarter. An important one if they can jag this. They've had a good time of it from this pocket as a general rule through the quarter. It will be the final play of the term, and he's got it home. Just snuck it inside. Big decision and a big goal. And a clutch kick. They've kicked all 3 goals from that right pocket in that second term. And they've ended up winning the quarter, 3 goals 2 to 3 goals 1. It was 14 points at quarter time. It's 13 points at half time. And all of that on the Petters suspension and breaks scoreboard. And make sure you check out Aidan and Steph on the OEFN Footy Show on the league's Facebook page every Friday at 5 p.m. And you can head to the local footy hub to watch all the replays and live streams from the Outer East Football Netball League anytime you like. So jump online for that. And if your club has a special milestone or just wants a game filmed, for just 300 plus GST, you can get your match filmed. Contact Gameface Vision for more information. We'll take a break here. Good game expected and a good game being delivered at this point. 6-4-40 to 4-3-27. Pakenham lead it by 13 points at half-time. Big freeze slide. And you probably wouldn't even need to put ice in it at the moment. Just put water in there and let it do the rest. It's pretty cold. But it is socket to MND round, trying to beat the beast. Good to see all of the MND beanies around the traps. The other around the ground score is the AFL. 3/4 time, the Giants have come from 4 goals down to lead by 2 points, 12-3-75 to Brisbane. 10-13-73 with the last quarter just getting underway in that one. We are here, of course, thanks to our game day sponsors, Healesville Greyhounds, Petters Suspension and Brakes, Rochford Winery, Project Gap, MS Security, SSA Sports and the Bendigo Bank. As a free kick there for a dangerous tackle is going to go the way of Seville, and a player that's been very good for them, the captain in Nolan so far in the game. Goes to centre-half forward with a high kick. Waiting underneath it, there was Kamanzuli. Couldn't quite take the mark. It comes out towards Matty, who floats the kick wide there, looking for Cook. No mark. Ball stays in play. Nice centering kick to Clacy, who has it. So they're sharing it short. Few long sleeves out there. Stanton, one of those. That kick's going to favour Seville, who had a 2-on-1 advantage there behind the ball. Left foot kick towards the wing. Punch down there by Jones. Well fed through and couldn't escape in the end. And we will have a ball up. Ball comes out here. Stanton tried to bounce it towards half forward. Getting in the way was Morrison, who worked into the game quite well through that second quarter for Seville. Umpire gave them a little bit of time to dispose of the ball and eventually paid what looked like a high contact free kick to Pakenham. Chip towards Matty at half forward, couldn't take the mark. Casey pushing up. Morrison stripped him of the ball well. Gave it through there towards O'Neill. O'Neill further afield. Morrison kept on running. Couple of bounces. Draws the player, goes over the top by hand. Centering kick looking for Broadway. Good spoil there from Kamanzuli into the middle of the ground. Important ball to be won. It was won by Stanton, but coughed it up with a hand pass. Charging through there was Cesare down towards the pocket. Neal keeps it in play for the moment. Needs a bit of support coming past. Eventually breaks the tackle. Little dinky centering ball back towards Cesare, who took on 2 tacklers and lost that fight. Holding the ball in the back pocket. First goal crucial in this second half. If Pakenham get it, it's back out to a 3-goal game, or Seville alternatively draw to within effectively a kick. Up to the wing. Picking it up there and feeding it through was Trelope towards Sciotino, towards the leading target inside 50. Now, has the mark been paid? It has. To Alloy, low to the ground, sliding in. Good attack on the ball. And a big kick to start the last term, or the second half rather. First goal of the last term to the Giants, lead by 7 points against Brisbane at the Gabba. So directly in front, about 40 metres out to close them to within 7 points. Starts right, stays right. 1 goal, 2 to Alloy on the day. 20 goals for the season. Short down the middle, score check 6-4-40 to 4-4-28. Kamanzuli wider with his ball. Left foot kick out into the path there of Cook. Boundary line wins out. Ball tossed back in on the wing. Tato tried to get front position. Seville starting to win some clearances. They go to half forward. Great mark from Farrow. About 70 from home. Sets it up. Neal's got the sit coming from the back. Couldn't take the mark. Good tackle. High and long kick outside. Mark taken well there by Nolan in the contest. Skipper drives them back to about 65. Aliades goes to the pocket. Good looking kick. Finds Alloy in the pocket. Now a kick one from this side of the ground at this end. Wastes no time. Tries to draw that towards goal. Pushes it across the face and they haul in the mark. Well, they've been peppering through the quarter so far. They just keep forcing it forward and eventually those numbers are going to win out. Sciotino should be able to kick the goal here from about 12 metres out on a slight angle. And this to draw them to within a kick. Fighting back hard, the unbeaten top side. Close in, and he's missed. Almost kicked that too hard, trying to thump that through rather than guiding it when there is some slightly tricky breeze down that end of the ground. We are seeing a noticeable sort of left to right about it. Left to right at that end, right to left at the other. 11-point game, 6-4 to 4-5. Tato the target, couldn't take the mark. Might come back in again. Morrison's there. Held up in a tackle by Rice. Stepping through is Menzel. Kick smothered. Sasir caught in the tackle. Just got the kick away as the whistle blew. So it will be a bounce. Tato punches it forward. Slight tug of the jumper. Sciatino fed the hand pass back. The kick was smothered there from Soniga. Important ball to be won here. Pakenham will send it forward via Green. Full stretch, the mark taken by Yakawoni. Goes in the middle and finds Cesare, who gave a bit of a boot as he took the mark. Bit of a Toby Green special there. And he's hurt his opponent. Trying to flash through, might have been caught high, nothing doing. So 7.5 minutes in this quarter, 2 behinds to Seville, no score to Pakenham. So it's Tato and Nolan, 0-0 draw in the ruck there. Di Pietrantonio at the bottom of the pack, slowly picks himself up. Good pressure. Tato jumps very early there, gives a free kick away on the way down for getting in over the shoulder. Nolan tries to go around the player on the mark, made a bit of a hash of that. And they force a stoppage. Good result for Pakenham. Over for another throw in. Huge game. Top 4 clash between these sides, wrenched out of there by O'Neill. Bit of a hold of the jumper there, missed on Eliades, who probably should have got the free kick. Once again, Nolan. Some superiority in the ruck, taken by Colley. Great attack on the ball. If it slides through to a chance, Broadway to run onto it. Does get turned inside out. They do well to corral him, so they'll hook the kick back towards the top of the square. Eliades is there. It's punched forward by Styles towards the boundary. And they eventually get it over. 20-point lead to the Giants at the Gabba. Starting to run away with that. They've kicked the last 6. So into the 11th minute of the third quarter, yet to have a goal kicked. It's a game that becomes an arm wrestle, sort of a finals-like match. It's a high contact free kick to Pakenham in the back pocket. And it's Jones down there who's feeling it. Slowly picking himself up down there, Jones. The ball is up on the half-back flank. Might have had the wind knocked out of him by the looks of it. Just the umpire or the players looking around at the umpire saying, well, is it my kick or do we play on? Is it time off? Is it time on? Eventually the free kick is played out there by Cook down towards or just backwards of the wing. 50-50 ball down there to be won. Baninga tried to win it through. Pakenham thump it forward. It gets through some hands. Open forward line ahead. Handball smothered there on Hager. They bounce it through centre half back here. Seville. Options over the top. Draws it. Goes to Trello. It was very nearly a 50-metre penalty for protected area. Umpire calls play on, and now Pakenham win the ball back. Hand pass comes towards Wright, the first gamer, whose kick smothered. Chipping ball wide's okay to Broadway. Broadway goes over the top. Charging after it there is Alloy. Taking it out of there is Menzel, but couldn't escape the tackle. So about the halfway point of the quarter, possibly a fraction beyond. No goals kicked in the term so far, just the 2 behinds to Seville. Cut the margin to 11 with that. Stanton missing it. Quick give out of there by Solberger was a throw. Too quick, said the umpire. Setting that ball up is Nolan to a dangerous position, and it proves to be such as Neil takes the mark on the lead. Had a pretty good game as Joshua Neal has kicked 2 of their 4 goals. He kicked their opening 2 goals, the only one they kicked in the first quarter, and then a tremendous set shot in the second. On the basis of that, you would think he'd go pretty close from here, directly in front. So not an easy end of the ground to kick from, but that is a nice hit. He's got 3. First goal of the second half goes their way. And it is back to 5 points. They're now 1 goal from the lead. 6-4-40 to 5-5-35. 1 goal 2 to no score in this term. As the gap tightens up. A lot to like about this clash. 2 sides that are a decent chance to play each other towards the pointy end of the year. Good pressure. Taken out of there by Cook. No clean possession in there. And the umpire will call for another bounce. Good pressure. A little bit of a hold in there. Nothing doing. Silva going after the ball. Seville, for the moment, on top in general play. 14.5 minutes through this term so far. Socket into space. That's an effective ball. Now where do Pakenham go with the next one? They feed the hand pass back instead. Wide kick. Becomes a test of athleticism. Well done there by Matty. Draws around, takes on his opponent, gets through well. Chips it over the top. That's good footy. That's very nicely done. Finds it to Stanton. He'll come off for a spell now after that, but that's impressive. Stanton sets it up inside 50. No mark. They've been able to create a spill a few times here and kick goals in this fashion through the game so far. Hall was involved. It's taken here by Clacy. Steps around. Now they'll shoot towards goal. And I reckon they've got it home. 1 in each quarter now for Hall, who puts it out to an 11-point game. And they've kicked so many goals in that fashion where they're getting numbers, just the 1 extra number, and then keeping 1 player on the ground who gets a little bit of space. And they get the answer. 7-4-46 to 5-5-35. Nearly 16 minutes into the third term. Back in the middle. Seville ball outside of the boot. Good mark taken by Broadway. Got nice hands. Can he find the next target here? Pops it over the top. Towards Mason O'Neill. Kicked an important goal just before halftime. Sells the candy. Measures to the pocket looking for Neil. It gets over the back. Can they run into the open goal? They just drag it near side from Morrison for 1 behind. 5-6. plays 7-4. Did have a couple of handball options, which a few people on the balcony pointed out to him. 10 points is the margin at the near 17-minute mark of the quarter. So Pakenham work it down our broadcast side back pocket. Target of that kick was Lee. Another of the first gamers, all of which have done a little bit so far in the game. Broadway steps around, sweeps the hand pass with good vision into Trellope. To half forward they go. Another important ball. Great mark. Not paid there. Almost hauled that in, did Morrison. Goes over the top. Good hand pass through from Saniga. Not quite the 1-2. Silver put the body on the line. Punches it down towards the boundary. Neal was there, but it's swept wider. Styles can straighten up onto the right boot. Drive it looking for Casey. Takes it on the bounce. Feeds the hand pass back. Again, they've got the numbers. Kick towards an open forward line. 2-on-2 down here. Hall, who's already kicked 3. Got rid of his opponent, but running onto it is Yakawoni. Turned over to his opposite number in Haggett. Chips it up towards the 50. Sweeping hand pass. Hall still there in the pocket. Morrison did well, pushing back to assist in defence. Lost his footing, went over the boundary, and will be thrown it back in. 10 points the margin, 19th minute of this quarter. Hall goes forward of the ball there, trying to get the hand pass. Gets through, squeezes a kick towards goal and just misses. 3 goals, 1. He's certainly lively down there. 7-5, 47, 5-6, 36, 19 minutes. So probably 4 or 5 minutes left in the quarter. Sciatino takes the mark. Short to Bailey. So still inside defensive 50. Goes short again as they maintain possession. Saniga gets a little 1-2 there, basically forced his teammate to have to give it back to him. Drives it up the middle of the ground, good lead. Nice mark from Alloy. Open forward line, lovely looking kick. They can run into the open goal here. Beautiful ball to Morrison, charges into the square and slams it through. Great passage of play, and they draw to within a kick once again. As we're about to hit time on in the third term, 6-6, 42 to 7-5, 47. That's very good football. Five-point game. Handful of minutes left in the quarter. Can Seville pinch the lead before the final change? Sciatino almost caught holding it in the middle. So another bounce. Jones taking a turn in the ruck there. Important clearance. Pakenham will work it forward. It won't quite get down towards its intended target, but they'll backtrack towards it. Nicely played there by Ahern. Chips it towards Hall, who couldn't quite hold onto the mark. Turned back into traffic. Lucky to get away with that. The pressure good here from Pakenham. Seville win it in the middle. It's almost holding it. If it's not holding it, it's probably a free kick for holding the man. Play on, probably the only thing it wasn't. Morrison moves it on quickly. Finds Broadway. Broadway will send the ball down the line, dances around his player on the mark, then beautiful pressure there coming after him there from Silver. It comes back towards Morrison, and Morrison eventually turns it over. Umpire deeming, I guess, that wasn't a tackle in the strictest sense. but certainly enough pressure to ultimately force the turnover. And a 50-metre penalty. Crowd certainly getting into it with the game ramping up. Clacy will move towards centre half forward. Hangs the kick in the air a while. They take the mark via Styles. Now the next kick. Can they find a target down towards the top of the square? Mark held and paid on the second bite. I'll chip it to the half-back flank. Try to build down the far side of the ground. 22 and a bit in this quarter, so not a stack of time left. In the middle. Ball in the hands here of Di Pietrantonio. They work it all the way towards attacking 50, where O'Neill has it just slightly too far out to score. Chips towards a leading target, little bit of a nudge, but all clear, and the mark is held. Crosses defensive 50. Long kick as it got the carry to get towards its intended target. Pushing up at the ball in green. It doesn't. Should be able to close that one down, Matty. The hand pass is fed out towards Yakawoni. Hand pass was good there, under pressure from Kamanzuli. Matty the target. Shown great athleticism through the game so far. Hand pass cut off there, Trellope. Standing start, Morrison. Kick smothered. Well done there by Stanton to knock it down. Swept over the top, Matty. Hand pass to a teammate under pressure. Menzel with a don't argue. It's coughed up though, Morrison. Gave it through there towards Eliadis, who's caught and holding it. So Matty doing some good things. Hung that kick in the air a little while. Stanton will get the free kick for a bit of interference. And that'll be all she wrote to end a very entertaining third term in that quarter. Seville kicked 2 goals, 3. And Pakenham 1 goal, 1. So that cut the margin from 13 points at halftime to 5 points at the last change. For Pakenham, 3 goals to Hall, singles to Menzel, Acacia, Hager and Kidd, and for Seville, 3 to Neal and singles to Morrison, Alloy and O'Neill in that term. 7-5-47 to 6-6-42 for the support of Healesville Greyhounds, and all of that on the Petters suspension scoreboard. 1 quarter to come, and it is the home side clinging to a 5-point advantage. Huge last term, looking at scores from this division, and then we'll take a look at Premier as well. 3/4 time or thereabouts across all venues right now. And we'll give you those scores. Warburton 14-14-98 lead the fourth place. Yarra Glen 6-4-40. They're in some serious form. Yay 12-9-81 looking for win number 2 against Powelltown 8-5-53. Alexandra 16-6 102 over Belgrave 8-7-55. So that's Div 1. We will look at Premier as well, as both sides about to contest in the middle. Monbulk 10-9-69, Officer 1-1-7. Healesville 13-6-84 over Gembrook Cockatoo 5-4-34. Wandon 14-9-93 over Upwey Tacoma 7-6-48. Alinda Ferny Creek 11-7-73 over Emerald 3-7-25. And Warriellic 7-11-53 over Mount Evelyn 4-5-29 in that one. In the AFL, Giants lead Brisbane by 12 points with only a couple of minutes to go. A bit of a carbon copy of their meeting last year. In the middle, Sciatino. Seville haven't led this match since the 4-minute mark of the first term, and they led by a point. They're a goal away from taking that opportunity here. Neal opens up the angle, goes with a centering kick, and it is a good one. And now they will shoot for the lead. Aliadis in a very good position, about 30 metres from goal. Can they land a crucial blow to poke their nose in front? Final quarter. Opening minute. Basically directly in front. They trail by 5 and they trail by 4. Second behind. For Aliadis, 6-7-43 to 7-5-47. They've been chasing and chasing since they trailed by as much as 26 points in the second quarter. Yet to catch them. Solberger plays on from the kick in. A long ball down the line taken by Kamanzuli. Goes down the line. Good attack on the ball there from Cook. Couldn't quite haul it in. Matty does well, gets it through towards Clacy, over the top, good running, they get it to centre-half forward. Quick snap inside, Mark held. Hager wants to move it on quickly, kicks it a mile in the air, all one-on-ones down there, it bounces through, no one's touched that, but a free kick for an unrealistic attempt in the marking contest. A kick forward far too high. Short ball finds teammate in the back pocket. They move it again up to the half-back flank. Just misjudging that was Nolan, ran underneath the footy. Now forced into a bit of a wrestle down there. And we'll have a ball up, probably 70 around from Pakenham's goal, who lead by 4 points early in the last quarter. Nolan just pulled out of the way there. Seville work it up to the wing. Brooks, good strength, takes the mark one-on-one, just giving a little nudge to get rid of his opponent. Finds a player free at half forward there in Styles. Wants to move it on quickly to a leading target. Good looking kick. Hall couldn't quite take the mark. Huge ball to be won here. Beautifully done by Sciatino. Hand pass a little hot, goes to the other of the Sciatinos, who almost coughs it up. Quick snap towards goal is there. Well, they tried to turn that over once, and they eventually did the second time. And the goal is kicked by De Bono, who gives them a 10-point advantage. And that's been the tale of it since midway through the second quarter, where Seville will push and get within a kick, get within striking distance of the lead. And Pakenham just managed to find one. There's not going to be a lot of goals kicked, you don't think. Maybe only 3 or 4 in the quarter based on the way the game has gone. And it's out to a 2-kick contest again, 8-5-53 to 6-7-43. Both these sides clearly in the premiership race with Warburton. And for Pakenham, having lost to one of those other contenders, if they can beat the other one, would give them an enormous degree of confidence. And if Seville get the result, they will have beaten both of their main rivals in the first half of the season. Would underline their status as the team to beat. A lot to play out over 20 minutes. Stanton outside of the boot, forward. It's a good mark taken by Hall. Had a real influence. Kicked 3 goals down there out of their 8. Goes looking for the target there in green. Couldn't quite take the mark. Flicked forward. Hall's in the vicinity here again. But he was also there. Hand pass looking for Sasiri. Dispossessed. Centering kick. Stanton's the target. Takes the mark. Pokes it short. This part of their game has been so effective. Just maintaining possession of the footy. Hall. If they find another target, they'll have a shot at goal, and they do. And it's Hago, who's kicked 15 on the season, already kicked 1 in this game, which was to that end of the ground in the second quarter. Now, these kicks aren't easy, particularly at that end of the ground we found through the game. It'll be their biggest lead since just before half-time if he kicks the goal. It's for a big start to the last term. Kicks from about 45. It's a beautiful looking kick. And those 2 goals inside 6 minutes of the start of the last quarter. A critical buffer. 9-5-59 plays 6-7-43. Giants down Brisbane by 11. At the Gabba. Pakenham here lead by 16 points. Hagar, the second multiple goal scorer for his team. Hall, the other, as we said, who has 3. They get the clearance here. It's fed out towards Silver. He goes on the left foot down towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Socket off the ground is clever. Goes to Rice, goes to Hall for number 4, and they miss to the left-hand side. That would have put some significant space between the two sides, but a hot start to the last term for Pakenham. Seville had a shot to hit the front about 5 minutes ago. Seems a fair way off now. Sciatino has it. Short. And finds Collie with that. Going to have to roll the dice. Seville find a way to open up this game to kick the 3 unanswered goals that they're going to need. Through towards Mason O'Neill now. 1-on-1. Very open forward line ahead. And the good mark taken by the first gamer in Lee. Pulls the kick into the half-back line. Rice makes a contest. Trying to bring it to ground. Goes back in after it again. Hall. Wobbly left foot kick's okay. Clacy surrounded by a couple. Stops and props. Well weighted kick. Pushing forward. No mark taken by Green. And that's going to be a free kick to Nolan for a push. Crowd didn't like that. Good mark, very good mark taken by Tristan O'Neill. Leaping, makes it in the contest. Centering ball, right, punch to ground. Good hands in there. Well, that one was a little bit haphazard on the way out. They've got the numbers. Kamanzuli close to the boundary. Doesn't take it out. Could have given to Stanton. Nolan sits underneath it, takes a strong mark. Short kick's good. Finds Di Pietrantonio. It's a centre half back free kick for interference in the marking contest. Wide to Green. Holds the mark. Would have been a free kick in any case, but probably a mark. Did have the option coming past in Ahern, but they're in no hurry, Pakenham. They hold a 3-goal lead in a low-scoring game. Down the line, good kick. Cook. Turned over on the passage forward. Mark taken. Seville on the half-back flank. Beninga. Short. Bailey. Not sure it quite went the required. Goes towards Sciatino. Short again to Bailey. Hung it in the air too long and punched over for a throw-in. Might have copped one across the mush as well. Ball tossed back in. Hand pass through there from Menzel. And they'll tie it up in there by Tato as we hit the 10-minute mark of the last term. Hands in there, picked up by Eliadis. And this suits Pakenham with time off the clock. Nolan and Tato. Tato won that tap. Clearance to Jai Sciatino this time. Lee that pushing through the middle of the ground. Matty's also there. Hand pass, a little wasteful there in the middle. He picks it up. Just gets it out, did really well. Selling a bit of candy there is Stanton. Places a kick out to the path of a teammate there in Styles. Sciatino's there, feeds the hand pass to O'Neill. Morrison. Morrison's kick to Nolan, who takes the mark. Goes into the middle, got a player in space. Good ball. Eliadis looking for a target. Low darting ball bounces off the chest of Jones. And a good tackle. Brooks comes in and on and lends a hand. 17-point lead. Now a free kick's been plucked out of there to Pakenham. Not sure exactly what he saw there, but it was late. Clasey. Short ball, finds the target. Stanton just chips it down the line and finds Ahern. Goes at a long kick. One-on-one contest down there. Tato at the back couldn't take the mark. Sciatino tried to escape. Clasey just got the hand pass out. They lock it in. And a bounce, probably a good result for both sides there. Probably halfway through this term. Ahern dispossessed. Forward they go with O'Neill. Great contest there from Kamanzuli. It comes through, flying shot across to the top of the square is going to work out okay. Tristan O'Neill with the centering ball, and they should be able to get the first of the three they need here. Farrow about 20 metres from goal. And he's got it home. And the game's still alive. 7-7-49 plays 9-6-60. Just ticking past 13 minutes in the quarter. 10 or 11 minutes of playing time remaining in this one. Hand pass out of there by Menzel to Brooks. Can they get the answer again here? Hall, been the player that's done it for them so often. Paddles it along in front of himself. Continues to work into the pocket. Lovely little sidestep close to the boundary. Spears a low kick to the top of the square. They're a chance to flash into the open goal. Rice just run down and holding the ball. As he went to get boot to it, that would have probably put it in the book. Big tackle. Seville. That kick hangs in the air. It's spoiled by a Hearn and over for a throw-in. 11-point game, 14 and a half minutes. Clasey's there. Sciatino also there. Boundary throw in. So back into play, just outside 50 for Pakenham. Seville off the outside of the boot, bounce it into the middle of the ground. All these 50-50s huge. Neal was there, the ball's flicked out the back. Di Pietrantonio goes to half forward. Brooks with a little knockdown, picked up by Solberger. High kick to centre half forward. Right on debut, made an important contest. Good hands forward by Menzel towards goal. Long flying shot is home from Clasey. Targeted the open goal, went long and kicked a crucial, potentially game-sealing goal. 10-6-66 to 7-7-49 at the 16-minute mark of the last term. It's their third goal of the quarter. And Clasey with the finger in the air as that ball was in flight. That's a big result. As he comes to the bench after kicking that absolutely gassed. Tato in the ruck. Seville needing a response very quickly. Clever kick out in the direction of Styles. It becomes a foot race. You should win that. Gathers it, back pedals. Hand pass to Silver. Good kick. And finds young Jake Wright. Kicks to a one-on-one. No mark to Hagger down there. Rice ties it up. Sciatino, hand pass back. Kick down the line. It's going to come straight back again. Mark taken here by Styles. Moves it on quickly inside 50 and Hall. Claims that it might have been touched off the boot, but usually those ones are paid in flight if it's just a little flick of the finger. Shots at goal a little bit different, but so Hall, you'd think on the edge of his range it would take a very good kick from here, but he has been a very good player. Kicked 3 goals, 2 in a relatively low-scoring affair. Opens up the angle, starts it right. It won't quite have the carry. It's punched to ground, and a behind is conceded, which makes it an even 3-goal affair. 10-7-67 to 7-7-49. Nearly 18 minutes have elapsed in the last term. Short kick. Sciatino takes the mark. They're going to have to do everything right from here. Broadway. Risky kick. Trapped by Hall. Straightens up, goes by hand. Cascia will bend it back and hit the post. But it's going to be a free kick, I think. Dumped as he kicked it. It won't go down the ground because it carried on the full, so it has to come back. But that almost suits them more. You can take a bit more time off the clock. And clearly a goal would finish it. Even a point would probably finish it, pushing it out to a 19-point lead, a 4-kick game. Cascia kicked a goal in the second term, in fact in the first term. Having an excellent season. Kicked 4 out of 7 at their last start in their only defeat so far to Warburton a couple of weeks back. Looking for a second here, lovely kick, and it's there. And so are Pakenham now, 11-7-73 to 7-7-49. There can be no denying the result now at the 19-minute mark of the last term. They've got it well and truly in check. Second biggest lead of the game, 24 points, 11-7-73, plays 7-7-49, 19 and a half minutes in this, the last term. The Hillsville Greyhounds, we thank them for their support. Nolan back in the middle, taken by Styles, who's kept on running, giving them a good option all through the game. Brooke, likewise, been a very nice player. They open up the angle. Hall will go back to the top of the square. Casey again, not quite able to take the mark. Rice broke one tackle and is then caught cutting back in to the middle. Roving done by Menzel, broke the tackle into Casey, who... Now, has that come off the knee or is it a goal? It's a goal. Little bit of a fumble in the square, and I was just worried about what part of his leg it was going to hit, but it's below the knee, and it's a third goal to Casey, and it's a 5-goal lead to Pakenham, who continue to roll away with this one. It's been a really powerful finish. Nearly 21 minutes gone. They kicked 5 goals, 2 to 1 goal, 1 in this quarter. And it's going to be victory number 7. And we're going to have 3 sides, Warburton, Seville and Pakenham, all at 7-1. A 3-way breakaway at the top of the table. Nice hand pass through there from Akawoni, but just didn't quite have the running support. He goes back in after it again. Now lays the tackle, and I think the umpire's going to pay holding the ball here for diving on it. He is. Akawoni thought about the running option, but they had a player right up their back. Nolan here works really hard, the skipper. Sets this up for the high flyers at the top of the square. That's a very good effort down there in the square. I think the mark's been paid to Brooke. Good, strong contested grab. He's been a tough little player through the game. Short to Stanton. Tanner Stanton had a lot of it. Back to his defensive goal square to Brooke as we tick past 22 minutes. And that's a genuine shank off the outside of the right boot and out of bounds on the full. You can probably have a chuckle at this stage of the game for just fluff that off the outside of the boot. And it gives Neil a chance, with a very difficult kick, mind you, to kick his 4th. He's been very good. Kicked 1 goal in every quarter. This will certainly take his best effort. Opens up the angle and misses near side. 3 goals, 1 to Neil. And 7-8-50 plays 12-7-79. Dying moments of this one. The quarters have generally gone between 23 and 25 minutes. Good mark. Half-back flank. Up the wing. Hall presenting hard at the ball. Knocked away from him. Seville will go back in the Neil direction. Made a contest against the couple. Was able to bring it to ground. High ball into the middle. Climbing high and almost taking a screamer there was Koshit in the middle of the ground. Handball is fed back. Taken there by Kamanzuli. Down to half forward as we see the twilight, or the fading light, drift across the ground. Di Pietrantonio. The little 1-2 now, Morrison. Bit of an inside-out barrel forward to the pocket there. Stanton met front on. It's away from him and over for a throw-in. $29-point lead to Pakenham, 24.5 minutes in. Quick kick to the top of the square. Neal caught behind his opponent, couldn't get a decent enough run at that one. And he's outpointed. The kick goes wide. Good searching lead there from Clacy, who came to the bench a moment ago, absolutely gassed, but be very pleased with his day's work. They concede a little bit of territory. Hagger again the target. Just chipping it around back to Clacy. Conceding territory again. Short, Silver. Just sharing it around. Long ball. And a very good effort from Styles, stretching out the cramp in the legs at this late stage of the game. Up the line. Trying to get that through towards Matty. Another chance late here for Seville. Sciatino just getting a hand pass away. Cutting through. High snap to centre half forward. Nice floating hand pass over the top there from Saniga as the siren sounds to end a very good performance from Pakenham. 12-7-79 in the end to 7-8-50. They were challenged, particularly in the second half. There was a shot at goal very early in the last quarter that would have potentially given Seville the lead with their 7th goal. It just missed. Pakenham would go on to kick the next 3 before another one, which was kicked by Seville in Farrow, which gave them a little bit of a sniff, and then Pakenham steadied again to record a 29-point victory. So we have 3 sides on 7-1. The Warburton big winners today over Yarra Glen to join them in that space. Seville with their first loss of the season today. Pakenham bouncing back from a 66-point defeat at their last hit out to Warburton just prior to the King's birthday weekend. And it does show very much there are obviously other sides that can grow into the season, but we certainly have a 3-way race at the top of the table. For Pakenham, Hall and Cashier kicked 3, 2 to Cashier in that last quarter. Hagger kicked 2, Menzel, Clacy, Kidd and DeBono the goal scorers. For Seville, 3 to Neal, singles to Morrison, Aloy, Farrow and Mason O'Neill. As we said, 2 O'Neills and a Neal playing in this game, but a very nice performance. We'll try to give you a quick snapshot of the around the ground scores before we wrap things up. In the Premier Division, Monbulk 13-987 over Officer 2-8-20. Healesville 13-987 over Gembrook Cockatoo 9-8-62. Wandon 18-9-117 over Upwey Tacoma 9-8-62. Alinda Ferny Creek 15-10-100 over Emerald 6-8-44. Warrialec 7-11-53 over Mount Evelyn 4-5-29. And across the remainder of this division, we have Warburton 18-17-125 over Yarra Glen 6-6-42. Yea 16-13-109 over Powelltown 9-5-59. Alexandra 18-7-115 over Belgrave 13-8-86, and Yarra Junction with the bye. The big slide for MND will be in action a little bit later on this evening for those nearby that want to come down. But a great result for Pakenham, winning by 29 points on home soil. A big thank you to all of our major sponsors over the course of today's proceedings. Healesville Greyhounds, Petters Suspension and Brakes, Rochford Winery, Project Gap, MS Security, SSA Sports, and the crew at Bendigo Bank. And a reminder that if you have a special milestone or you just want a game filmed, be it women's footy, reserve, seniors, whatever it may be, for just $300 plus GST, you can get your match filmed. Contact Gameface Vision for more information as we sign off from Pakenham.
Firstly, I want to say thank you to Seville Football Club, not only obviously for the games today, but being involved with the whole setup for the MND round.